Alright. We got MAXPAX here at the top left side. It's the Pigosaur weekly number 59. MAXPAX representing Sidestorm Gaming in the red. And not in the blue, he's in the teal. It's not quite blue, it's definitely not green, but it's somewhere in between. It is, of course, Shopify Rebellion's Beyond in the bottom right. Gonna be on 10,000 feet, a map I haven't watched too much Terran versus Protoss on, but I'm keen to see where this one lands. It is only the quarterfinal, so it's a best of 3, and see these two clashing already. I'm kind of like, damn, dude, how friggin' stacked is today's bracket? You know, we've still got a live, what do we got? Clem, Solar, Hero, Percival out there. There's a ton of good signups today. Really happy to see such good showouts recently for the Pigosaur Mondays. And it's going to be cool to see where it goes. Looks like a 1-Rex expand with, is that an eBay block? Yeah, it kind of looks like an eBay block, doesn't it? Now, MAXPAX, he's gone down, but normally he just goes out for a scout after the gateway. Very rare does he hang around. Then again, oh, BYUN's going in the wrong side, which means he gets spotted. And of course, MAXPAX should immediately pull 2 more probes. Normally you'd pull 4 probes total, but because he spotted this before the eBays even started, I think 3 should cut it. 2 attacking the SCV, 1 on the other side, so if he rotates, you can still intercept. And now that's just 230 hit points. They're doing 15 damage per volley. Going to get that eBay down in very little time. And of course, you go Cybercore. Sometimes you build a second pylon earlier than the Nexus if you think that you are going to have too much money sitting around, but there we go. Cancel goes down, Nexus starts, and of course it's Orbital Reaper into High Ground Command Center behind it for BYUN. Now I wonder, guys, if MAXPAX just sent his worker across, would it have gone the right side? Because I feel like BYUN should have himself maybe gone the other direction. Then again, we've got vision on both sides of the middle here. I guess this way he went there, and then when he clicked back, it naturally went to the right. I don't know. I'm just wondering if BYUN was suboptimal and if he should have sent the SCV around this right side. Maybe someone has tested it. You guys let me know in the comments if you know. Some purple mushrooms up here growing on top of the cliff. Very nice. And it's going to be Adept, Warp Gate, no doubt the Twilight Council about to start. Yeah. 100 gas has now kicked in. And actually, no! Cancels Warp Gate, starts Stargate. Hello. Cool to see MAXPAX mix in more Stargate builds recently. Not what I really expect from him. Alright, there we go. Got our settings fixed, guys. Put the health bars back to damaged and just changed the scroll speed so it's a little bit more smooth. It was moving a bit too fast. It was kind of doing these ones, even with tiny mouse movements. So hopefully that's a little bit smoother now. Adept shading around that cliff, always annoying. And did BYUN actually see the Stargate? Yes, he did, which is excellent. Now he's going to answer this with a quick second barracks. Not going to bother with the starport. Why? Because normally you rush a starport in order to build an early medevac to do some sort of drop harassment against what is likely a Phoenix build. That is not the best way to play. BYUN does rally to the back. If he rallied to there, one of those Marines would have got popped. Actually, it wouldn't get popped on the outside because it goes clockwise. So I think it still would have popped here. What I mean by that is basically if 2 Marines try to spawn here, only 1 can fit there. And the next one, it'll keep trying to find spaces to spawn it, and it'll do a kind of clockwise circle around the barracks until it finds an opening. Usually it can pop the unit out a little bit further away as well, but there is a limit to that. You'll often see with big units like tanks, if it's completely surrounded by buildings, even if you've got a little space, a siege tank being a 2x2 unit, just a bit too big and will not pop out. Quick engineering bay as well. Luckily the Phoenix did scout straight away, but oh, go over the pillar. Okay, uses his lift, that's fine, does keep himself alive. I mean, he's seen the 2 barracks, he's seen the factory, and that means it's an economic arms race. For you know, both sides. Obviously a bit more tech heavy as well. MAXPAX is going for Phoenix Colossus. Question for me is, how many Phoenix does he stop at? He's chronoed them so far. I think 5 will probably be where he ends up. Now you might say, oh, he's supply blocked right now, but it's actually not cut into his probes at all. That is a literally perfect pylon timing. Does need to build another one though. Robobay starts. He's got 6 on gas on the natural as well. Where's that extra pylon? Max? I'm telling you, he's normally so perfect with his pylon timing. This one does feel a little bit late, though. It's going to cut into him a little bit. He's at 58 out of 62, especially if he wants to keep building Phoenix 4 or out 5th one's building. He has paused probes, though, so I guess he doesn't care too much. as he wants to build the Immortal, the Phoenix. I mean, he would want to build probes now, so it is still a slight delay. Nothing that's going to end the game in of itself. Marine tank move out is ready. He wants to push these Phoenix back, and the Phoenix might rotate around. If they do, there is a pack of Marines waiting for them. BYUN does not have stim, but it is on the way. Phoenix going to fly in. A missile turret is going up in both mineral lines. Well done, gets himself. Was that just an SCV, or was there a mule as well? Just one SCV, one Reaper, for one probe so far. That looks like BYUN just attacked both of his own depots there. So a few kind of button miss hits tells us that BYUN is, as always, feeling a bit frantic. Oh, big mistake here for MAXPAX. Flies into the Marine Cyclone, loses to Phoenix. Blunder. You're going to be so careful. If you're ever going to fly around the front, I always feel like you should go around the back and then hover over like a dead space or a pillar. But to fly over the open ground like that was an uncharacteristic mistake for Max, and takes even more damage there. BYUN is not even committed to this. He's building a starport. He's got a fast +1. He's got a 4th gas coming in. All right, starport should be swapping over onto this reactor, and we should be seeing 2 medevacs and then a 3rd command center go down. 3rd Nexus now done for Max, but he's only on 48 probes. He's got a Twilight and 2 more gateways. That'll bring him up to 4 gateways. Make it 6. Not bad. Phoenix will find themselves some juicy pickoffs there. Marauder's being built now, which means the mobile anti-air is incredibly limited. Beyond there. Just going to have to take these losses on the chin. Let's see what he can get on the other side of the map at the same time. The tank Marine here, the Marine stimming. That's a great fight for MAXPAX, because he activates the stim, and now what? The Phoenix are picking off every new Marine that rallies out, not to mention SCVs. I mean, this is excellent value for MAXPAX. Could grab that SCV as well if he wants to, but he wants to keep getting the Marines. The medevacs can't even rally across the map. And BYUN, he's had his teeth taken out. 3rd command center's on the way. It feels like, I don't know, man. I think he could have just chilled and dropped an earlier 3rd command center. The fact that he's gone for a relatively fast starport, but like, damn, these medevacs still feel really late. It's almost like he got the starport, but didn't actually use it for quite some time. And now, BYUN starport idling at a vital moment while he builds a quick 4th and 5th barracks. Using supply drops rather than mules. More of a short-term focus for the Terran against a Protoss who's now got extended thermalats. 2 Colossus up. 3rd one building. Charge and +1 are on the way. There are 6 gateways, which means that Zealot count is going to grow. When charge finishes, that will be big. The SCV on the command center goes down to the Phoenix as well. Dude, I don't know, man. Oh, drop tries to go in the main. Okay, double drop tries to go in the main. Phoenix will take out one of the medevacs. 2 of these Marines onto the ledge. Are in a bit of a derpy spot, but he does manage to get a Stalker and a Zealot there. MAXPAX still has to respect this position. Remember, his 3rd was saturated so late. He's just going to give up the Cybercore and the Gateway. Good pickoffs for BYUN. He's going to make the best of what has been a bit of a dog's dinner so far. Like, yeah, he had some good moments early, but I think now he's got to kind of chill, knuckle down, and the next fight needs to be perfect. But Templar Archives in 7th. Actually, sorry, is the 6th gateway being rebuilt? No, that's the 8th gateway being rebuilt. So Max is going to go, I would imagine, Archon timing. I honestly think as... Oh, Marines find a Phoenix. 2 Phoenix go down. Despite that, I was going to say we should be chronoing a Prism and going across this map, morphing Archons on the other side. Unfortunately, he was supply blocked again. In a bit of a sloppy quarterfinal here so far. Both players, whoever loses this is going to be a little bit annoyed, but I think both players are playing sloppy enough to give the other player chances. By the way, guys, what has happened to the graphics on this bad boy? This guy used to be kind of like dark and shaded with cool lines of energy on it. Now it just looks like a friggin' golden blob, and it looks almost 2D. I don't know, it looks so fugly. I don't know what's happened with that graphic on this map. Did I change a setting? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm on windowed mode or something? And it just looks different. Nice sneaky Marine drop, gets 5 probes in the main. Only 2 Zealots can attack at a time, which means the Marines should be able to clear at least most of them. Yes, they will. Big push on the other side. Here come the Archons. Ghosts are out just in time, though. Oh, good EMP. Double EMP on the Archons. The Prism just runs it and dies. MAXPAX multitasking failing. There's still a Marine in the main. Oh, my lord. BYUN just took him to town, man. And I mean, yes, your Marines are vulnerable, but you got to chase. You have to chase. You've got enough Marauders. If you get all these Colossus, it's worth it. Those Colossus beams do hurt, but it's A-okay. The Marine Viking clean up the Phoenix. The Marauders and Ghosts take out the Colossus. Few Zealots are going to come in. They will manage to almost get a Ghost, but MAXPAX too far behind. Really struggled to deal with that drop over there, and then that single 8 Marine drop sliding into the main was just absolutely brilliant. That being said, I do think BYUN kind of let MAXPAX off the hook a little bit after catching a few Phoenix, having a good early game, not leaving Marines at home. And I always wonder, is it even worth building these missile turrets if you can just sit over your production? It's almost like, why bother, right? I figure if you're going to do it, you need a missile turret here as well. But even then, if he's dogged enough, he's still going to find units out here. He's going to come in around behind the sides, pick out the units as they come up. It's just a bit harder for him. I think also delaying the SCV on that third command center was massive. At the end of the day, it was a loss for MAXPAX, despite him doing some nice moves to get himself in an okay position. But not able to deal with the drops, and that's always scary. Losing the Phoenix count is hard, and then using all your energy for harassment as well. If you got 5 Phoenix, 8 Marines in your main, no problem for the Storm Protoss, but down to just 3 and no energy on them. The Rebellion's BYUN punishing. It's kind of funny how against Colossus Phoenix, it's similar to when someone plays Storm. If the Terran can just slide, preferably a double drop, but even in that case, a single drop unscouted when your army's way out of position, it's so annoying to deal with. All right, so we're going to see a barracks gas opening, no scout so far for BYUN. I have a feeling we're going to see a second gas, and of course we have the confirmation of that as he rallies that next SCV over for the 52-second second gas. This map is White Rabbit. Okay, so I've been playing a lot of ZVT on this map today. It's quite weird. Notice how there's this big, thick gap here, and there's another one here as well. This whole thing creates this very awkward middle area. It's quite choked up. Brilliant siege position, whether it's tanks, Storm zoning an army through these choke points here. Yeah, they're wide choke points, but they're still kind of nasty. And I was complaining about it today as Zerg, because every time I try to click my units to rotate, I'd think they'd move through here, but they'd get blocked and they'd run next to the enemy base and get shot by tanks. And I was like, what are you guys doing? A few Terran players, or one Terran player, a map maker in my chat, said they vetoed the map because they looked at the map and they said, this is going to turn into a TVT turtle fest. Because of that choked up middle area, it's going to be really hard to like push through. And I was like, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. So interesting to see how it plays in TVP. Bit early on the recall. I would have liked him to wait. Remember, the Reaper, earliest it pops is 158. So you can recall over here at 159, 2 minutes even. You're not going to die if you recall as the Reaper pops out, or even just slightly after. But better safe than sorry. MAXPAX is going to build a shield battery here. And this Adept can't really go across the map because he doesn't have the second chrono. So he's going to have to wait, delay that first shade a little bit, and then venture across with a bit of delay. Hellion's on the way here for BYUN, as well as a reactor after the Reaper. Looks like he wants to build a nice early starport. Interesting that he wants to build it here, though. Changes his mind, builds a depot, and he is actually going double Reaper. Okay. Very aggressive opening. Probe's going to transfer. Stalker's out, Twilight's on the way, first Adept moving forward, looking for the Reaper. Little does he know, the Reaper's already gone home and he is waiting to receive the Adept. BYUN here is basically saying, I hope you send an Adept on this map. I've seen a battery, I've seen a pylon. And I pull back and I'm waiting because 3 Reapers and a Hellion will make quick work of your Adept. Adept only has 4 vision. These units have about 7 vision, as you can see. They don't see him coming in, which means that Adept's going to cause problems on the natural. Reaper Alien, very slow to react. You can see on the minimap, they only now turn around. And that's 1 SCV down. Could be a second one. That Adept needs to shade away, though. Shade away, shade away, shade away. Oof. Adept barely surviving on 3 hit points, but a delay on the command center is usually worth a lot. Second barracks goes down. BYUN's in one of his moods, guys. If you aren't familiar with the great history of BYUN, whenever he's doing really well in StarCraft, he actually doesn't like varying his strategies. Like, if you guys think of Estrella and how every game's a different build and there's a clever idea behind it, but sometimes his execution slips up just a little here or there. BYUN's the opposite, where he wants to do, like, at his core of his being, and he used to be able to get away with it a lot more, he wants to do the exact same build every single game and just click a little bit better each game, especially when it comes to the first 4 or 5 minutes. He might, branch off in different directions from there. Obviously, these days, he's capable of a lot more openings than that, but he'll still have these periods where for like a few weeks, a certain build in a matchup is just clicking for him. and he starts spamming it and doing it every single game. Now, he's actually doing a combat shield Marine tank push, so it looks the same as last game, but it's much more committed. Sorry, guys, I had to mute to sneeze. I think I got one more coming. There we go. Got it out. Got it out. Woof. Sorry, I had to micro my mute button there, so you guys didn't get your eardrums blown out. Holding the high ground's nice. The scary thing in this matchup of builds is you're up against 3-gate Blink, and there's plenty of Stalkers that are going to be on the map, so they can wear this push down as it moves across the map. I don't think BYUN's push is going to be effective, but does get himself a Stalker with that lock-on. Very nice start to the push. Reapers could get a bit more damage there as well, but now that the Stalkers are here in numbers, that's where I do think MAXPAX setup should be enough to deal with this. He's got Stalkers coming from home as well to reinforce. Well, BYUN's already made it halfway across the map, but he's got a whole lot of SCVs there. Good pullback on the Cyclone. He's got to keep that Cyclone alive. It's a really important part of his range damage. Already 2 Stalkers have gone down for just 1 Marine and 1 Reaper. It's an excellent start to this push for BYUN, but he will need to siege a tank sooner rather than later. He wants to get closer, though. I think now's good. I think he can siege 1 tank here, 1 tank a bit further, and he gets in super deep, but Stalkers will be coming from behind already. The Marine rally is getting overrun there, but 2 of the 3 gateways exposed on the natural. That means he's on a timer. 1 gateway's gone down. You can't lose all your production as MAXPAX. And look at that as well. Bunkers going to be going down with a tank coming out. One of the Stalkers on the flank does go down. The Blink Stalkers join up on front. Both tanks are falling. There's no stim here. The Cyclone falls. There is a new tank arriving. The bunkers are still building. Another Stalker goes down. It's BYUN about to 2-0 MAXPAX. MAXPAX has, to his credit, built 2 more gateways in that main, 2 more gateways in the natural. That's good because he needs it. Charge is coming in, and Charge will clean this push up pretty effectively. Bunkers looking so good. That's kind of nasty. Another gateway goes down. This pylon falling would be huge. The tank's kind of close, but I'd like to see these Marines target this pylon on that right side. Look at their Stalkers ready for a flank again. It'd be better to have 5 or 6 Stalkers there. With combat shields especially, it's hard to one-shot these Marines. Stalker warp in gets cancelled. There is a 3rd base on the right side, which means MAXPAX might be able to bounce out of trouble. Oh, he's got Zealots on the flank as well. They're going to be charged Zealots very soon. Okay, this is a crazy moment. There's only 1 Marine in the rear bunker. There's Zealots and Stalkers behind. BYUN needs to regroup his forces. He's going to get rid of the Robo, but there are still 4 gateway Zealot coming in. Is this enough Marines? If Stim kicks in, I think this turns in BYUN's favor, but right now, he's messing up on his rally. You could see he F2'd a little bit there and did get his army caught. He's got to group up at home. I'd love to see a 3rd command center out of him so he can prepare. Feels like he's somewhat all in. Maybe just grab all these units together and pull the SCVs and go. But he's got to rejoin his forces if he's going to keep committing. He doesn't have an eBay, no starport, no eBay, no 3rd command center. 32 SCV, all in, of course. MAXPAX economy is reeling. Immortals on the right side. Stalkers there. He's setting up a surround. He's spread out to minimize the splash damage. Zealots will come in. The Immortals need to go after those siege tanks. 1 tank goes down. The 2nd tank falls almost instantly after that. Remember, Stim is not done, and that's a big problem here for BYUN. Yes, he's got extra bunkers coming up, but the Immortals just chew through them. They do 50 damage a shot. The bunkers go down so quickly, and Zealots are always with charge. More than a match for a non-Stim Marine. You get Stim, you get Concussive, you get Shields, and a Medivacs, and that's where the Bio in large numbers turns that around. But when you've got charge Zealots against just Combat Shield Marines, that's where it's hard. He's preparing for another push. 2 more barracks are building. He should be building Marauders, not Marines. I think it's a big mistake for BYUN to not have swapped to that earlier. Oh, 2 Stalkers going down, and a Zealot, I believe. Nice. Of course, this is where problems arise. BYUN can't handle the Prism drop. He's going to have to fight with the SCVs. Kind of turns into a defensive SCV pull and an offensive one at the same time. I like the Prism picking up there. He's causing a massive disruption to the mining. The Stalkers and Immortals in the middle of the map going to pick off some of these SCVs. Good stutter step there for the Protoss player. And the Prism does escape with 2 Stalkers inside. 2 Immortals, a Sentry, and a few Stalkers are there. The Marines do not want to stim on their way across the map because that's going to be hard to heal up. The Immortal barriers have been activated, or at least one of them has. A lot of these SCVs dying before the fight really starts. MAXPAX goes for the engagement. The Marines don't even stim here. He was too distracted by the drop in his own base. And that army has been all but cleansed. Yes, MAXPAX is pulling back again. With 1 more wave of Zealots, he should be fine. The Prism finally gets defended on the other side. 1 Immortal does fall, but with the Zealot warp in, it should be an easy hold. BYUN still got tanks there. Zealots are going to go around to cut off the reinforced. Good patience for MAXPAX, who's not just going to bleed units in a few Zealots at a time. And with 6 Marines building, that's right, no add-ons on the 4th and 5th barracks, which does make sense. Let's going to be tough. Tank moves forward there. Big army on the right side. BYUN's going to force a fight. Immortal will go down pretty quickly, but look at the Zealot flank up north. BYUN knows he's done for. MAXPAX with a narrow hold against an incredibly committed push. I do wonder if BYUN, if he stopped committing to bunkers there, could he have maybe evacuated that army at one point? It's so hard to go home with that army. Maybe if he just builds up for a macro follow-up, he can transition better. I think the problem is there's a third base sitting there. And the moment this push is cleared and you're not committing anymore, that gets saturated, Double Forge goes down, Templar Archives or Robo Bay, and you are still in a very hard spot. All right, going into game 3 now. MAXPAX is in the bottom right of Taito Citadel, BYUN in the top left. Don't see a Combat Shields push very much these days. I was shocked that it was able to get across the map that well. Seemed like it caught MAXPAX off guard. Wasn't really on his radar. Despite that, could not quite finish the game off. Clearing those 2 tanks with the initial kind of rejoin of the Stalkers to blink in the middle. Good choice. I think if MAXPAX misses that timing and lets the rally reinforce, it's lights out. Because there's a point when there's like 3+ bunkers, 4 tanks. It's so nasty. Then later again, when Stim gets added to that, it becomes even harder to break. But I think just getting another 3rd or 4th siege tank would have been big in of itself. Looks like he wants to rally a Reaper very early beyond here. Building a Reaper, or maybe hide the barracks. Maybe he wants MAXPAX Scout to think he's being proxied. Now to sell that story, you need to go double gas. Oh, maybe he's trying to sell the double proxy Marauder story, actually. Interesting. Okay. The reason this is not a fast Reaper ledge, guys, is Reaper Rally is this is the Reaper ledge. That's not. You cannot jump on these little pillars, though. It does look a bit like a platforming challenge. I think Reapers would do pretty well at hopping across that. Thinking of, you know, basically the easiest Hollow Knight level ever. Sorry for the camera work. All right, Cybercore into Nexus, comes in, and he goes, oh god, we're being all in. Now, problem, that looks like a very full mineral line. I would not be convinced at all, just from looking at that mineral line, that this is double proxy Marauder. I would think, yeah, there's no way. Maybe single, but you're hiding a command center, is what I would be thinking. And he sees the command center now, so he doesn't overreact at all. He stays completely calm. So the 300 IQ thing, guys, is when your depot sees the SCV come in, you have to pull 2 SCVs to the back or like run them off to the right side. Somewhere where you can hide them. So the probe comes in, he goes, oh, that mineral line looks a bit empty. This guy's gone double 15 barracks down here or something. He's going to get me with a Marauder all in. And that's where sometimes you can get a Nexus cancel, second gas, second pylon, panic 1 base Stargate or something like that. But in this scenario, I think the way BYUN's done it doesn't feel worth it to me. It feels like it's, don't get me wrong, I remember doing a lot of deep analysis and coaching with some pros several years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, probably 4 years ago, about 2021. And I remember analyzing like Parting's filthy PvP builds, and one of the big things is if you really wanted to be like perfect against his cheeses is you needed to count probes. Because like the difference between him having 15 on minerals and 14 on minerals was really big, because he would scout with a probe. And much like SOS and Parting were the only players who would really do this. But then he'd send a second probe out to go hide a proxy somewhere. And it's just 1 probe difference. And it's so hard to tell, but you would basically have to learn the exact timing your probe gets to their base, how many workers they should have in total, and then, you know, sometimes you could do a quick comparison to your own base as well. But it's very rare to do that. A single probe difference is really hard to read. It was like one of those things where even for top pros, it's hard to consistently be accurate on that, because a probe builds in just 12 seconds, so that the probe count changes so fast, like so little room for error. The difference with this build is if they build a double 15 proxy barracks, they're down like 4 SCVs from what he had. So it's like, it's blatantly obvious, oh, you've got a full mineral line rather than 11 workers on minerals. Obviously, you're not committing to the proxy, and that's why I think BYUN's trick is not a good one. Sorry for the long explanation, guys. Part of being a good commentator is being able to explain very intricate concepts as simply as possible that anyone can understand it, and you get a complex idea across in a very quick way. And I really do feel like I failed my own benchmark there pretty badly, but that's all right. Let's move on. Don't get stuck in the mud talking about the last thing that went wrong either. That's the other good tip. So today we're backseating my very average commentary today. Hopefully we can warm up as the day goes on. Cyclone Marines going around the left side. It is going to be 4-gate blink. He's not there yet. MAXPAX paused on 40 probes. It's pylon perfectly timed on that left side. So there's a Marine Cyclone ambush. He doesn't know what he's up against, but BYUN's like, well, don't want to run into Blink. Running forward here, a little bit ambitious. Okay, now he knows. Okay, good. I denied your attempt for a base. Let's run away. Cyclone's much faster than Marines. Choosing to evacuate the Cyclone is a chaotic decision, and it's one which very well could bite him in the butt. But the Stalkers don't see those Marines, and as a result, it should be okay here for BYUN. Oh, I mean, it's cute to get damage on the Prism, but also incredibly dangerous. Blink now finished. Liberator going down the right side of the map. Unfortunately for him, the Stalkers... Nope, they changed targets. Okay, so we've got a single Cyclone drop. It's going to go to the natural, pull the Stalkers down, and then the Lib will go in the main. But there's plenty of Stalkers at home to defend. Tank is decently positioned, but still very vulnerable. A Blink here, and you're basically killing that tank very quickly. These Marines moving forward to this spot, it's going to help defend that really well. Cyclone drop goes in. He's going to get 3 probes. Can he get a 4th one? No, he cannot. Liberator goes in, sees the pylon, runs away. Already an initial fantastic hold for MAXPAX. He's now taking out the SCV on the barracks. Does have to pull back. 2 Stalkers in the main should be enough to deal with Mr. Liberator. Or Miss Liberator, as normally they got themselves a lady. Lady driving that. Dropping some freedom on the dirty Protoss and their stupid Stalker robots. 15 Stalkers is a lot, mate. Still no Marauders building is kind of a lack of respect for this, in my opinion. He does get a scan on the Observer, which is good, but I'm not sure BYUN realizes just how many Blink Stalkers. There is a North America of Blink Stalkers outside your base. You have to be so wary as BYUN. I don't think BYUN understands how committed this is. Oh, he definitely doesn't. Stim's exposed as well. Dude, he's so lucky Stim didn't get sniped just then. BYUN has no idea. The thing is, luckily for him, MAXPAX didn't see him move out. And MAXPAX is coming in right now, and he's like, wait, why don't you have any units? It might dawn on him that BYUN has moved out with his army. MAXPAX needs to wake up right now. He's trying to go charge and storm. Does get 5 SCVs. Recalling the Prism would be a good idea. Yes, guys, there is a bunch of Ewoks in the back. One of them is on top of an altar. It looks like he's getting possessed or something there. Yeah, doing some dark magics in the corner of Taito Citadel. Tank's getting a siege up for free. This is a huge mistake for MAXPAX. The question is, though, can BYUN save these units? Yes, he's got Medevacs and Marauders building at home, but he's just moved out with the rest of his units here. SCVs are pulled. Stim Marauders. Oh, Stim Marauders are going to do amazing damage. Dude, this game's going to get so messy. MAXPAX just lost his 3rd, but he took out a whole bunch of the DPS here for BYUN. BYUN's going to be able to keep pushing, though, because there's no storm. There's no answer to this at home. MAXPAX, you've just killed 17 workers, but you've got no units, mate. The tanks are going to get a brilliant siege location. BYUN needs to stim. He takes a while to do the stim. I do like the tanks focusing the Stalkers, though. Oh, great tank shots on the retreat. And the Marines do take a bit of damage from those Zealots. I like that he targeted the pylon to stop him friendly firing his own Marines. They're so fragile right now. If these Marines could get on top of these probes, that would be really good. And indeed, they're going to. Hold position would be the way to do it there. And indeed, he does. But 11, 12? Is that enough probes? He lost like 20 SCVs of his own. I think this is good for BYUN. I think it is. But the tanks, of course, go down for free now in the trail end of this. He needs to go home and build a Viking now. There's 3 SCVs on this side of the map as well. Not sure why they're there. At the end of the day, it is 1,000 resources better trading for BYUN. 3rd got killed as well. But there's no 3rd command center for BYUN. He's got an abundance of gas. Can he defend this? Should be able to without any extra SCV losses. Of course, he wants to get rid of the Prism. You've got to build a Viking. You can't not. I think he's kind of in the mindset of MAXPAX he's gonna recall this. As I said, by the way, you can see, guys, there's 4 of these Moopy, these Ewoks, and you can see there's one of them that they're kind of, I guess they're basically summoning Archimond or something, but in this case, he's got to just possess a crappy mortal being, so there's going to be a bloody demon-infested Moopy in the corner of the map whenever this ceremony ends, leaving almost no defense at home. Very greedy for BYUN. Drop snakes across. Zealots spot it. And I think BYUN should just unload to fight this. Don't lose the Marine, though. Our medevac healing's pretty good, isn't it? Stalkers come in, deny the SCV on the 3rd command center. Did you know he's going to go back to do that again? MAXPAX has Storm and a few Zealots at home. It's a very small army, but he's got Storm. He's going 8 gates. And the 3rd command center massively delayed for BYUN. I think if BYUN can get over there and do a split push, I think MAXPAX is screwed. I don't think he has the numbers right now. But the Prism has done a really good job of keeping him stuck at home. I think if he drops again and kills that SCV on the third command center, it's terrible for BYUN. We pointed out in game 1, losing your SCV on your third command center is such a big disruption. It's going to happen for the second time in game 3. Such annoyance. Rallying some Vikings there as well now. This drop on the right side going to rotate around. This Marine's there. Main army's just breaking rocks. It's not really doing anything, man. Vikings going to get good damage on the Prism, but he will lose the Vikings if he chases too far. Prism goes down, so does one Viking. Vikings are incredibly cheap these days, though. SCV finally going to rebuild the third command center. But look at this. MAXPAX economy was so bad. This is giving him time to recover. Now, to be fair, his main's already half-mined out. MAXPAX needs a fourth base if he wants to effectively go past the 55 mark on the work account. And here we go. Storm's coming forward to try and defend the watchtower. BYUN doesn't really have much else other than that single stim drop waiting to go into the main base. Few Marines go down, eats a bit more of the storm damage than I would have liked to see. This drop's going to come in from behind, but there's Stalkers right there. If he can focus these 3 Stalkers down and get out, would be brilliant, but the medevac does fall for those 3 Stalkers. I think that's a decent trade there for MAXPAX. Getting the medevac always makes it decent. BYUN gets one probe to try to add some real damage, but feels like MAXPAX has made it past the scary part. Like, yes, ghosts are coming in, but BYUN's third is just so late. It really feels like he's letting MAXPAX off the hook. I don't know if you guys get the same impression. Let me know in the comments. It feels like he should have been able to press with this army advantage that has now disappeared. There's an immense amount of storm on the map. Oh, good Widow Mines. That Widow Mine only hit his own units, unfortunately. Force Field Storm combo only snags a single Marine. Oh, don't chase through the storm. You got to be careful, mate. That thing lasts a while. SCVs have to abandon this third base temporarily. Good scan to make sure he's not getting ambushed on the front. But scan runs out. And of course, MAXPAX comes forward. BYUN needs to run. Gets himself a few Zealots. Oh, he's got to be careful. He's a bit too damaged now. That Widow Mine gets a nice hit. But it's only on the Archon. It's not a crazy good hit. And of course, MAXPAX defuses that Widow Mine. Prism's back in the main. EMP is there, but it's not enough to take out that Prism all on its lonesome. Ghosts are trying to gather up. I love the float on the third. That is a brilliant decision for MAXPAX. He knows he can't defend the main and the third at the same time. He does not want to lose these Ghosts to Zealots. That would be a disaster. Almost loses one. You can see he manually pulls that guy back. And he should now be able to get his forces together, heal up a little bit and defend. But he's got to watch out for those storms. Indeed, he does clean up. Viking going out the north side to chase that Prism would be really good. He does it, but then he F2s back because, of course, the storm distracts him. BYUN needs to send that Viking back to the north. Otherwise, he's in big doo-doo. These Archons heavily damaged, but there's plenty of storm behind it. MAXPAX Prism comes back in, now on the front side as a warp-in point. The army of BYUN still very fragile. His army is much better than MAXPAX. He's got double upgrade advantage. He's got a lot of Ghosts, but he's damaged, and that means he can't stim, he can't stand and fight. Eats a lot of storm damage there, more than I would have liked to see. Storm is really good for delaying here and just buying time and delaying this third. Meanwhile, fourth base is up for MAXPAX. He's got a Colossus transition, and the Warp Prism is back in the main. Viking goes to the main base. Third command center is healing up. Bio Army needs to split. BYUN cannot afford to stim. He also can't afford to take unnecessary storm damage. This giant tanky ball of Protoss, it will disappear when you've got 10, 15 Ghosts out, but right now you are a 2-base Terran against a 4-base Protoss. It's not a position you want to be in. Gets one EMP out. Still, of course, enough to storm there. Prism does go. Oh, I like the pickup towards the main. He will defend there. He's got a Viking as well that can chase after this bad boy. How many Vikings died this game, guys? Good recall. Three Vikings. Okay, so 3 Vikings went down for how many? 2? No, just 1 Prism. Units lost tab is in favor of BYUN. But I think MAXPAX now going second Robo, getting his +1 weapons finally in here. He's done such a good job of delaying. I'd like to see more High Templar rebuilding. Warps in and energy recharges there. He's got to keep doing that. Every 30, 40 seconds, warp in a High Templar, energy recharge it. Uh-oh. No storm to cover his retreat right now. He's got to pull back, does MAXPAX. Like I said, it's a scary army for BYUN now that it's all healed up. The medevacs are completely out of juice, which is going in his favor. Marine spots the Prism coming in with his outlet drop. He should be able to deal with it with his rally of Marine Marauder, though. MAXPAX thinking about committing to a full warp in over here. Oh, great EMP! There's only 1 High Templar left right now, guys. Not sure even where it is. This is a huge moment. If BYUN can just force the fight. No shields for that entire army. Third base is in trouble, though. Army will come over to defend. Meanwhile, main fight. Medevacs are out of juice. The Medevac's just A-moving over the enemy because he is out of juice. But I think BYUN's got this. I think BYUN's got this, guys. He's going to get through MAXPAX. Just no, not enough Storm energy backing him up. The only 2 High Templar he had got EMP'd. And BYUN gets a really good fight, does clear a lot of units, yet at the tail end of it, MAXPAX survives, still has 4 bases, did even more economic damage, main base mined out, natural half gone. BYUN desperately is going to need a 4th command. He's going to go double eBay, Armory, 4th command center, you know, sensor tower. I think he might have to just lift this main soon, though. I think for him, take the 3rd gases here, lift this main out, because you need more mineral patches and you need it desperately. That being said, units lost have 5,000 in his favor. MAXPAX just hasn't quite had the material, and there is still a single upgrade advantage for BYUN in the game. Concussive Shell's doing quite nicely there. Cleans up a bunch of the Zealots. Gets a Zealot on the tower as well. And Max has got 3 Colossus, so he's going to go 4 Colossus, knowing the Viking count is low. But the Medivacs taking a moment now to heal up their energy to recover that. Double upgrades for Max will help, but I really think for Max he needs to focus down a bunch of Vikings. He's only got 5 Stalkers, which is why I'm not sure double Colossus production is the way to go. He's kind of banking on the Viking production being bad for BYUN, which is why seeing no Vikings in that production tab, Terran fans, oh man, he needs a 2nd starport. He needs to pump Vikings out of this, man. He's going vehicle weapons right now and +2 armor. These are the worst 2 upgrades. +2 weapons for his infantry is really important. That's meant to be ship weapons, I think, but he's not even building Vikings. BYUN's making a few little mistakes in this game. And I think MAXPAX might, with this surprise 5 Colossus transition against a guy with only a handful of Vikings, might get back in it. He does cancel vehicle weapons, makes ship weapons, and then cancels vehicle again afterwards, which is showing that BYUN is spamming keys very quickly, making a few little mistakes here and there. Double drop on the left distracts main army, shoves the right side. EMPs land, no storms going down to zone. A lack of vision for MAXPAX. He didn't have any observers. I don't know if the 5th Colossus was the right idea. I think if he had observer vision of this army, he could have zoned that army with storms. But of course, he was surprised. He was unprepared. He ends up eating more of his own storm damage. He does defend the base 4 now, but this bottom side is actually quite wide open. BYUN backs away, thinking there might be an ambush waiting. I don't know where his army is exactly. I know some units are up here. BYUN now getting chased. There's not that many Vikings, only 7 on the map. There's 5 Colossus. Running away is the correct answer, but of course, BYUN's just stimmed his army again, which means these +2 Colossus are going to chew through this +1 armor bio with how damaged it is. Rest of the army's coming home. BYUN needs to defend. He's still up 20 army supplies. There's not a lot of meat and potatoes. The lack of a warp prism with the army itself could be an issue. Zealot warping on the left, though, is going to cause a bit of havoc. And these Colossus, man, they are a real force to be reckoned with. Not to mention the storms. One good storm could change everything. South side, 5 SCVs go down for those 3 Zealots. Decent hold for BYUN. He's finally remembered his +2 engineering bay weapons. 4th base planetaries going up as well. His main base needs to lift out. He's got a lot of scans saved up. He's not really dropping mules right now. He's much more focused on having scans available for vision when the fighting starts. And that's very wise. If you don't have scans, it's really hard to know where those High Templar are coming from and where to land those EMPs. I love the extra observer production with the 2nd Robo here for Max. Getting a few observers on the map just to see where BYUN's coming from will be huge. And the fact that he's gone +3 attack, +2 armor. Brilliant play. I think MAXPAX with a 5th base coming up. If he could scatter just a few more reserve Templar, like, yeah, I love this one. Maybe leave one on this base as well. This Nexus is so vulnerable. Scans going down just about everywhere. Main army going south. 2nd starport does now finish in that main base. It's 5 Vikings against 5 Colossus, though. Not something where it's easy for Terran to force a fight. 2 Ghosts caught out front. Storm does land just to zone the army. Doesn't really do a lot of damage. More High Templar on the right side. Got to be careful because BYUN's got that watchtower, which means he can see this army moving around. Feels like BYUN's working with a lot more information. MAXPAX, so every second that goes by, he closes this supply gap. You know, right now, BYUN's advantage is just turning into money in the bank. And here we go. Oh, good EMPs. Oh my god, in the flank from the north as well. Good zoning storms, but EMPs come from both sides. BYUN walks right through the storm. 0 respect given. A lot of Zealots, Archons, and Immortals were down south. They're going to come up to try and reinforce. But the Colossus are getting taken out. Even the small number of Vikings. Because of the way BYUN caught him out of position, the Archons and Stalkers weren't there to defend. BYUN, has he gone too far though? His whole army heavily wounded. Oh, just a little bit of damage in there. Could finish it off, but I don't think MAXPAX even has that much. He's on an Immortal High Templar Zealot army right now. He doesn't have an energy recharge available for another 20 seconds. He's going to have to give up his 5th base. BYUN with an excellent engagement. I love the way he pounced. He just, because of the watchtower, he saw where the army was, jumped on it from both sides. And if there was one more backup High Templar, I think that storm changes everything. But it's so hard if you don't have backup High Templar. It's so hard in general. I mean, where would the Templar have come from? I guess this base, like I mentioned. But 3 High Templar were pretty clumped. They landed 2 good storms. But 2 good storms was not enough. Not with the rest of the army out of position. Failure to track BYUN's forces. 4 observers, of course, have gone down in this game. So hats off to BYUN. He's always very sharp-eyed. He always sees the observers and snipes them down on purpose. 3-3 on the way now for Terran as well. 5th command center coming in. He might only have 56 workers, but BYUN's turned this into a poor man's macro game. MAXPAX, of course, also in a poor man's macro game. Natural fully mined out. 3rd is half gone on this base. 4th base, still relatively fresh, but he needs the 5th mineral line up, or he's just going to be in trouble. Of course, more Colossus are building. Without Colossus, it feels very hard to chew through the Ghost front line. They also force a lot of Vikings, so I think always having 2 or 3 Colossus is nice. Plus 3 armor starts for Protoss, so it's 3-2 for Protoss. Plus 3 armor, of course, ahead for the Terran as well. It'd be kind of cool if you could catch this army on its own, you know? Drop a storm, blink in, and jump on it, of course. Watchtower vision is pretty big. Kind of hard to surprise an army on the Watchtower. Bit of a pipe dream. There's no real transition here from MAXPAX, guys. He's just got to try to get really good storms. But he wants to have an Immortal Colossus army. It's not a great comeback force. He's got 5 High Templar as well. I mean, no, this is a good comeback force. The 5 High Templar is... He's just got to spread them really, really well and drag the fight out and try to snipe a few units here or there. It's really hard to snipe the Ghost. I think a few feedbacks might help. If he can get a few feedbacks off, I think it could turn this. But he hasn't really been feedbacking much at all. To be fair, in general, I feel like I don't see MAXPAX use feedback. I mean, surely he does know how to use it, but it's dawning on me. He might not be as good as some of the other guys when it comes to feedbacking with the High Templar. Like, I'm terrible. I never use feedback. I always use just Storm. It's a big oversight of mine. It's part of why my High Templar play is pretty basic. But I would expect more for him. High Templar does get EMP'd. Bio comes in on the north and the south at the same time. It's an excellent engagement. The army's running around in the middle. It's headless chicken Protoss right now. I mean, he needs his whole army just to deal with half of BYUN's force. But of course, BYUN can run away. So if you're going to chase this, you kind of need to blink after it, really chase him down. But you don't want to lose all your Stalkers, do you? Just attack his own unit. Yeah, he just killed his own Stalker. Zealot High Templar comes forward. Decent Storm. Gets a bit of damage on the Vikings. He's going to try and recall up north. No energy recharge available. The Nexus goes down just a fraction of a second before the recall can complete. BYUN's all over it. MAXPAX. I really thought MAXPAX was going to win that, guys. What can I say? I don't know what their recent head-to-head is or anything like that, but that felt like a very, very fair competitive series. I do think BYUN was ahead and just got a little bit like stressed by the Prism drop harassing him and doing damage and all that. But the fact that his early tank push got across the entire map and sieged here before MAXPAX even realized what was happening. Big oversight on the map vision for MAXPAX. He had his Stalkers here and not actually watching the exit of the base, and BYUN's whole army moved south. And yeah, BYUN was in a bit of a scuffed position afterwards, but I do think at the end of the day, his fights were just so much better. And that one big fight in the middle, that was a point where I think MAXPAX had relatively evened out the game. 5 base against 4 base. Upgrades were getting in his favor a little bit. And then we saw this swing in the resource loss just go absolutely crazy. GG, well played. BYUN goes to the semifinals.